A newborn baby has been found dead on a cruise ship. Oceania Cruise Lines will deploy their newest ship early. Norwegian Cruise Lines plans to make a massive impact in the Asia Pacific market. Windstar Cruises is headed to the Med. And Carnival Cruise Lines will partner with Bally's for some really good rates. All this and more. We've got a lot to discuss, so let's swan dive right into it. Hello everyone, it's Cynthia, your host. Welcome back to today's show. We have a lot of cruise news, and unfortunately this first story is very sad and very tragic. We're headed over to Silver Seas Cruises. Now, this is the cruise line owned by Royal Caribbean, Silver Seas. Aboard the Silver Whisper, a Filipino woman, she was 28 years old, was arrested on May 19th for voluntary manslaughter. This is apparently what happened. During her time on the Silver Whisper, this 28-year-old Filipino worker, she found that she was pregnant. She decided to hide this pregnancy. She didn't tell anyone. No one knew about this. None of the people there, none of the employers, none of the staff. The only other people who knew that she was pregnant were her two roommates. And they decided to go ahead and keep it a secret as well. So the woman kept this a secret this whole time. On about May 17th, her two roommates helped her deliver that baby right there in the cabin. Well, what did she do? She continued on with her job. 2 days later, on May 19th, the baby was found deceased in the bedroom, wrapped up in sheets. The cause of the death of the baby right now has still been undetermined until there is an autopsy done. It seems as if the baby had just been left in the room. And if you know anything about the work schedule of crew members, they work very long hours. So the baby was left while she was off doing her duties. And it seems as if it was neglect and possibly starvation or malnutrition. So she has been arrested while the Silver Whisper was near the province of Grosseto, Italy. This is east of the island of Corsica. It has been noted that when she was arrested, she seemed very dazed and very confused about the whole thing. She was taken first to the hospital to be checked, and then she was transferred to the Salesiano prison, which is on the southwestern outskirts of Florence. Silver Seas was contacted for an interview, but they have declined right now, and it has been noted that they are completely cooperating in this investigation. It doesn't seem like any other crew member on board the ship knew about that pregnancy. Now, this of course brings much more questions than answers. How is it possible that she was on board pregnant, working, and no one knew except of course the two roommates? Why did she decide that this was going to be the best answer? And what did she think would happen once the baby was born? We don't know. We can only speculate. And of course she knew that on board cruise ships, there just are not facilities that are able to take care of pregnant women who go into labor. And that's why even passengers, after a certain amount of weeks pregnant, they're not allowed to sail because cruise ships just are not equipped to handle that kind of situation. And of course she knew that, and that's another reason she was probably fearful of telling anyone and being put off of the ship. This is a terribly sad situation, and let us all just be in prayer for the child lost in this whole situation there. Our next cruise line story takes us over to Oceania Cruises. Now, this is a cruise line that has been said to be a big foodie. It's a cruise line by foodies, and it's a cruise line for foodies. And they also pride themselves on being a heavily destination-focused cruise line. Well, they have announced that their ship, the Allura, will debut 1 week earlier than expected, which now brings it to July 24th of 2025. This earlier departure will be a 6-day cruise that departs from Trieste, Italy, and it will visit Dubrovnik and Kotor before arriving in Athens. Guests who were originally booked on that first maiden sailing will get the opportunity to have first dibs of rebooking at this new earlier sailing. Oceania Cruise will also open up a very unique 4-day sailing from New York City on September 30th of 2025. Allure will be the 8th ship in Oceania's fleet, and it's also the second Allure class ship. Some of the things that you can expect to find aboard this beautiful luxury ship is one chef for every 10 guests. Remember, this is a foodies cruise ship. The ship is able to hold 1,200 guests with 800 crew members. So that's 2 crew members for every 3 guests. The Allura is said to have the most spacious standard staterooms at 291 square feet. And in cruise ship terms, we know that is pretty roomy. There are 5 specialty dining venues, a library featuring floor-to-ceiling glass windows, and a brand new creperie on board. President of Oceania Cruises, Frank A. Del Rio, said this: "Thanks to the progress made by our valued partners at Fincantieri, we are thrilled to bring Allura into service a week earlier than planned. I'm excited to be able to present Allura on a one-time taster voyage to showcase the ship to aspirational travelers who are looking to sample an ultra-premium cruise experience and even better sailing from downtown Manhattan, the heart of New York City." Frank Del Rio also mentioned that the chef team is busy right now tasting and perfecting new waffle and crepe ideas to present to all of the passengers once they arrive. Waffles and crepes sound wonderful to me. That is definitely something that I would have for breakfast. How about you? Any of you out there waffle or crepe fans? Maybe this could be the cruise for us. The president also states that right now in development, they are looking to create 300 new recipes to serve across all of their restaurants. This sounds like a delicious place to be. Would any of you cruise on the new Allura, or do any of you have plans, or are you booked on the Allura right now? Please let me know down in the comments below. Our next story takes us over to NCL Cruise Lines, Norwegian, and they have just launched 24 new immersive itineraries that will take place over in Asia Pacific. NCL will be offering 85 Asia Pacific voyages between September and March of 2026. These voyages will be across 3 ships and 15 different departure points. The departure points include Auckland, Papati, Manila, Bali, Bangkok, Seoul, Tokyo, Yokohama, Vancouver, Sydney, Melbourne, Cairns, and Lautoka. There will be 9 to 19-day immersive voyages, and NCL states some of those voyages will have over 10 hours in port with 36 different overnight stays. Norwegian Spirit will debut in Asia on May 26 on a 10-day Japan cruise from Tokyo, and it will return to Asia Pacific from September until November 17th of 2025. The Norwegian Sun makes her Australian debut, and she will arrive in Brisbane and Melbourne on December 18th and December 21st. The Norwegian Sky will debut in Asia in January. She will be headed to Japan and Southeast Asia cruises from 10 to 17 days until March of 2025. This lineup from NCL seems like a dream for anyone interested in going over to Asia Pacific. It has some really great options and some immersive and actual longer time spent at the ports. Are any of you interested in traveling on one of these NCL cruises, or have you already decided to book that cruise? Let us know down in the comments below. Our next cruise story takes us over to the boutique cruise line of Windstar. Windstar Cruises has announced their 2025 and 2026 Mediterranean cruise offerings, and they're really nice. Windstar operates a 6-ship fleet of smaller vessels, and some of these vessels actually have sails to help propel them forward. Windstar first offered Mediterranean voyages back in the fall of 2023, but they were canceled because of the unrest that was happening in the Middle East. So they regrouped and instead deployed their 312 guest ship to Europe, and the season was extremely successful, and now this is why they're continuing on doing these European and Mediterranean sailings. Bookings have already been open for the 2025-2026 Mediterranean cruising season, and in order to sweeten the deal, there are some very attractive early booking bonuses that Windstar is offering to its customers. Guests who reserve their cruise by October 31st of 2024 will receive a $200 onboard credit per stateroom, and they will also receive an upgrade to all-inclusive fares. What does that mean? That means that their Wi-Fi, gratuities, as well as unlimited beer, wine, and cocktails will be covered in the price of the cruise. So all of those extras that we pay for on those mainline cruises, well, they will all be covered. Guests will have their choice of several different departure points for these cruises. They will be able to depart out of Athens, Barcelona, Malaga, Rome, and Venice. And new for the 2025-2026 season will be visits to Genoa, Italy, and they will also have overnights in Dubrovnik, Croatia, Venice and Livorno, Italy, Nice, Barcelona, and Malaga, Spain. Right now, Windstar Cruises is renovating 3 of their cruise ships, the Windstar, the Windspirit, and the Windsurf. The Windstar and the Windspirit have a capacity of 148 guests, while the Windsurf has a capacity of 342 guests. So these are definitely smaller ships that are able to get into areas that the bigger ships just aren't able to go. And Windstar is doing so well that they have ordered 2 new cruise ships to be constructed. These will be the Star Seeker and the Star Explorer, and this will join their existing Star Plus class of ships, scheduled to enter into service in late 2025. Let us know down in the comments below if you will be one of the ones traveling on Windstar Cruises. Before we get to our final cruise news story, which talks about free cruises, I'm taking this opportunity to invite you to subscribe to the channel. All you have to do is tap down on that subscribe button. It costs you nothing and it helps out the channel a great deal. We would love to have you as part of the Right Recipe for Travel cruise family. And also, I want to let you know that Right Recipe for Travel has their group cruise coming up on the beautiful MSC Seascape late next year, November 16 of 2025. This is the absolute best time to lock in rates, less than $500 for your cabin. So I will leave that information down in the description below, and welcome to all of my new subscribers. Our final story takes us over to Carnival Cruise Lines. They have partnered with Bally's, which is one of the world's leading gaming and entertainment companies. This partnership will give perks on all 27 of Carnival's cruise ships to Bally's members in certain tiers. Bally's tiers guests who are either Legend, Superstar, or Star will be eligible for a discounted cruise or possibly even a free cruise with more perks available. Mike Donovan, who is the Chief Marketing Officer and the Senior Vice President for Bally's, had this to say: "The collaboration brings together 2 industry leaders, combining the excitement of Bally's gaming experience with the unparalleled entertainment and hospitality of Carnival Cruise Lines. Together, we will create unforgettable experiences for our guests, both on land and at sea." Bally's also states that not only the opportunity to get discounted or even free cruises, there will be special added incentives. They haven't given us all of the information to what those are, but look forward to added incentives as well. Are any of you Bally's members? Have you reached those tier levels? It will be very interesting to see how they decide to offer either a discounted or a free cruise to those Bally tier members. Very exciting for anyone who is a Bally's member and also enjoys Carnival cruising. Well, that is all for the cruise news today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you at the next adventure.